Hey everybody, I'm Aaron Higgins. Welcome back to New England Fire Cooking. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to smoke a gold grade American Wagyu brisket from Snake River Farms. We're going to be using the Traeger Pro 34 today. Can't wait for this. It's going to be absolutely awesome. Let's get to the grilling. So here I have a Snake River Farms gold grade American Wagyu whole packer brisket. This bad boy was 13.8 pounds right out of the cryovac, and I did some trimming on the fat side. I tried to get it down to about a 1/4 inch fat cap. And if you don't, that's not a big deal. If you're competing, it is a big deal, but this is a backyard brisket and we just want it to be good. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to rub some of this extra virgin olive oil all over the fat side, and this is going to serve as a binder for our rub. So I mixed together 1 part Heath Ryle's pecan rub and 2 parts of Killer Hog's TX brisket rub, and I put it back in this shaker. And the Heath Ryle's pecan rub brings a slightly sweet, earthy, nutty flavor, and the Killer Hog's TX brisket rub has your salt, pepper, garlic, your onion powder, a little bit of parsley, those savory notes of those spices and herbs. And I'm going to give this brisket a good dose of this rub. Don't forget to get your sides. Next, I'm going to come over with the Cattleman's Smokehouse rub, and this is a savory beef rub. Very, very coarsely ground. It's going to really accentuate this bark and add just a killer savory flavor to this brisket. Once you got your rub on, give it a pat and then flip it over. Now it's time to attack this meat side. We're going to give it the same treatment, some extra virgin olive oil, rub it all over the meat side. Again, don't forget all your nooks and crannies. Don't forget your sides. You want to make sure that you get a nice light coating of this oil. Helps our rub to stick. Just like on the fat side, we're going to give this a good dose of our mixture of Heath Ryle's pecan rub and Killer Hog's TX brisket rub. Make sure you get all your nooks and crannies. Make sure you get that rub nice and evenly coated all over your meat. And again, we're coming back over with the Cattleman's Smokehouse rub. Going to add that coarse, savory ground rub. Really make this bark pop and give it a really killer flavor. And here we have it. Our brisket is nice and well seasoned. And I'm going to let this hang out for about an hour. I'm going to let this rub do some work to this meat. And then after about 45 minutes or so, I'm going to fire up the smoker and get it up to temp. We're going to be running right at 225, and we're going to be running this bad boy overnight. Okay, so I just set this brisket right on the smoker, and I set it with the point end towards the right-hand side of the smoker. The warmer side of this Traeger tends to be the back right-hand corner, which is perfect for what we're trying to do here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get this bad boy closed. I'm going to come check it in a couple hours, make sure everything's running according to plan, and then I'm going to turn in for the night. Okay, so we're 2 hours in. I'm going to check what's going on here. Everything so far looks really good. Everything's smelling really good. This pecan wood does a great job with beef. Now it's time to get it closed, and it's time for this guy to get some sleep. Okay, it's morning, and we're going to open up this Traeger. This brisket has spent 9 hours on smoke, and it is looking absolutely fantastic. We got a really nice dark red color to it, and I'm going to give this bad boy a temp. And I'm seeing us right around 160 and climbing. We're climbing up to 163, 164 probably. I wouldn't be surprised if we hit 165. And this is the perfect time to get this brisket wrapped. So I just pulled the brisket off, and I'm setting it right in the center of this heavy-duty aluminum foil. And what I'm going to do next here is I'm just going to wrap this up, and you want to wrap this up in a way where it traps the moisture. It really catches all those juices. A lot of guys ask me why I don't use butcher paper. I have used butcher paper before, and you trap some juices, but paper is permeable, and because of that, the paper will soak up a decent amount of juice and moisture. Aluminum foil won't do that. Aluminum foil will just trap all of it, and I like to save rendered brisket fat and use it for other cooks, particularly stuff I do on a griddle or in a cast iron. So I'm going to finish wrapping this up, and then we're going to get it probed and get it back on the smoker. Okay, so I probed it right in the thickest part of the flat, got my ThermalWorks dot set for 198 degrees. Now it's time to go back on the smoker until this dot starts singing, and then it'll be time to rest it. Okay, we're right where we want to be. We're now at 202. You can expect a little carryover after you pull this bad boy out, and you can see I pulled this brisket out and I set it in a pan, and we've already starting to see some juices leak out a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rest this in my oven. I'm going to heat my oven up to about 170 degrees, and then I'm just going to kill the temperature, and I'm going to let it sit inside. I've rested my briskets inside of a dry cooler before, wrapped in a towel. I can't do that today because all my coolers have drinks and ice in them. So I'm going to have to rest it in my oven. But that's not the end of the world. I've done it before and it works just fine.
So after resting for almost 2 hours, I've decided to unwrap this brisket, and now what I want to do is I want to take my knife here and I want to find that big decal of fat. Look at that jiggle on this bad boy. This is unbelievable. But what I want to do is I want to take my knife and I want to find this decal of fat, and what I want to do is I want to run my knife right down the decal of fat, and I want to separate the point from the flat. The point is something that we're going to cube up, and you can make brisket burnt ends out of it, or you could just eat it straight up. That's what I like to do. And the flat is what we're going to be using to make our slices. So what you want to do is you just take your time and be careful. Sharp knife definitely helps. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide my knife right through. Oh yeah, it's going right through this fat like you would not believe. It's going through like butter. Take your time. You don't want to mangle your brisket or anything like that. And just slowly work that knife down through that decal of fat. And what we're going to do is separate the flat from the point. And then what we're going to do is set the point aside. We'll cube that up later. And then it'll be time to get some slices going. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I have this flat on my board, and I'm going to slice across the grain. Very important, you want to slice across the grain to get these slices. And got a lot of juice coming out of here already. It smells absolutely fantastic. It's got a really good smoke ring. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slice these about 1/4 inch thickness, which is perfect for brisket. You could go a little thicker if you want to, but I prefer 1/4 inch. And what I'm doing is I'm letting the brisket, as I slice it, just kind of fall on top of each other and stack itself up. By keeping the meat together, it prevents it from drying out. Very important. You don't want dry brisket. This looks absolutely amazing, you guys. I wish you could smell what I'm smelling right now. I'm going to do this last slice here and then see what we have as far as tenderness goes. Brisket shouldn't be falling apart. It should be tender. It should have a really good bend to it. I'm going to pick this slice up here, and you see this big piece of fat. Could have done a little bit better in the trim, but it pulls off so easy. If you don't want to eat it, you can set it aside. And look at that bend. It should fold over just like that. That's exactly what you want to see with brisket, and it should have a good pull apart exactly like that. Now it's time to eat.
Okay guys, I'm going to break into this right now and give it a taste, but I'm going to do a quick run through here. We had a gold grade American Wagyu brisket from Snake River Farms, about 13.8 pounds. Trimmed it up, got rid of some of the hard fat, knocked down the fat cap, so it was a little bit more uniform when you usually want about 1/4 inch of fat cap. If you go a little bit more than that, that's okay, but you definitely don't want to expose the meat underneath the fat on the fat cap. That'll dry your brisket out. Anyway, we set it on the Traeger pecan pellets at 225, and we ran it overnight. Right at 225, after about 9 hours on smoke, pulled it out, temped it. It was right around 165, had a really good color to it, so we wrapped it, put it back in the smoker. We put the probe to our ThermalWorks dot in the very center of the brisket, right in the thickest part of the flat. We set that for 198 degrees. When that went off, we pulled the brisket out and we just put it in a pan, big foil pan, so we didn't lose any juices. And then we rested it in the oven. You can rest it in a cooler with a dry towel, dry cooler and a dry towel. I've done that before, but all my coolers have ice and drinks in it. So the oven was the next best thing. Anyway, after we let it rest for about 1.5 hours, I usually don't go more than 2 hours. You can go longer than that, but I couldn't wait any longer. I had to get into this. It's absolutely delicious. It's going to be for Father's Day, and we got some people here and they're ready to eat. Sliced it up, separated the flat from the point, set the point aside, and now I want to get into these slices here and just see how I'm doing. This is the one that I already pulled apart right here. So I'm going to give this a go. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. I've said it before about Snake River Farms Wagyu. I've cooked USDA Prime. It's absolutely amazing. And this right here is a step above Prime. This is just absolutely fantastic. That pecan rub, that's the secret ingredient. A little bit of that has a really unique flavor to it. And that Cattleman Smokehouse rub, you get some serious pepper. The fat just melts in your mouth. It's just absolutely gelatinous. This is unbelievable. I'm gonna show you guys some of this bark right here. Look at that delicious peppery bark. Look at the smoke ring on that bad boy. That is just absolutely glorious. This gets better with every bite. You can't beat this, guys. Especially on a beautiful early summer day. It's not too hot. Perfect day to be outside. Perfect day for barbecue. And this is the undisputed king of barbecue. I'm telling you, if you really want to treat yourself, special occasions, birthday parties, family reunions, or in this case, Father's Day, Snake River Farms is a great source of some really awesome meat. I put a link to them in the description. If you want to check out Snake River Farms, please follow that link. That helps us out big time. I'll also put a link to Traeger in the description as well. If you have any interest in them, please use our link to check that out. That helps us out big time. If you like what you see here and you like what we're doing on this channel, please give us a subscribe. We're on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and of course, YouTube. Leave your comments in the comments section. We'd love to hear from you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Happy Father's Day to all the dads. We'll see you next time.